Welcome to maybe being tuned in to another episode of the Tomcat Show. Oh, it looks like I'm the only one signed in right now, but people start tuning in. What up, one visitor that disappeared? All right, where were you guys on the night of June 3rd?
June 3rd. Where were we June 3rd? I don't-
June 3rd?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is something I can't remember for the life of me.
1938.
Yeah, not alive yet.
So you guys do these things known as films, right?
Yeah, right.
Weird.
Yeah. No, it's one of these new things. It's been out for about over 100 years now. So
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
yeah, I went to film school, but I can't remember the first moving picture. Sometime in the late 1800s, as far as I know.
Oh, the train robbery one or something.
The train robbery one, but before that, you had the moving boxes and the
the Nickelodeons.
Nickelodeons,
Yeah.
exactly, right. So, yeah.
And if you want to go even further back, you'd go back to the history of storytelling, and that's been within people for I don't know, ever since humanity started.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We always
sure.
like documented stories and so on. So
Storytelling.
Storytelling. I'd say probably the first actual picture, or not moving film, but actual picture that you have there telling stories is what the cavemen used to do. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's within
Whole
our nature.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
form of
anyways,
communication.
Yeah, we're
All right.
filmmakers, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So how'd you guys meet?
Well, we met at work. We both worked at a film school, basically.
Yeah.
So we were coworkers.
Scary.
Yeah. We were coworkers at a film school, and then we started making films. Became friends, became creative partners, domestic partners. It's just a big partnership.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, and so we we were making a lot of films. We were writing a lot of different scripts. From anywhere from sci-fis to dramas, and we finally came. You're just talking one night, and you have a story idea, and for some reason, that's the story idea that flowers into existence, and that's what we did with Lana Golan. So it's
Oh,
kind of this
cool.
crime gangster drama.
So you guys were writing like a handful of things and then decided to go with the Lana Golan.
We were, yeah. We were writing a lot of stories. We were actually working on scripts as well, and how creative. How artists are, basically, you leave stuff unfinished until you actually find the thing you truly want to do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So how did this story come about? I watched the trailer on my phone, which I know every filmmaker dreams of.
Right.
Can't wait till it's been seen on somebody's phone.
Yeah, right. No, I mean that's what we're looking at now. That's kind of the future. So how
Yeah.
did it come about?
Well, I personally always wanted to be a pimp. So I'd say
As do
that.
most girls.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? So basically, I always joked about being a pimp because when I came to the U.S., I was saying that one lady was asking me, "Oh, you look interesting. Where do you come from?" I told her I'm Russian, and she said, "Oh, are you a prostitute?" So that kind of. Wanting
was
to
it.
be a pimp, yeah, that was it for me. That's when.
You say I'm not a whore.
I'm not a
pimp."
whore. I'm
Yeah.
a pimp. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to write a story about a female who was a pimp, not a prostitute. Just to do some gender bending there, because they've been there.
Yeah.
Usually they're older
Yeah,
women.
but they're usually older whores, or
Yeah.
older sex workers who used to.
And they're like, I'm gonna
yeah.
get a grass. I'm gonna take charge of.
Exactly,
right.
So that's what happens to them. So.
But in
yeah.
this case, it was a young woman. So,
Yeah.
the trick of this story is coming up with a very unique, almost unbelievable situation and making it believable.
Yeah.
So once you do that, that's kind of where you've accomplished. So I feel like we did that pretty well because, you never heard of something like this before.
Yeah, and it seemed like even the trailer, it seemed serious, completely serious. Like
Right.
it seemed nothing like
Right, we take the
humorous or even surreal about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, we take the situation very seriously. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of about, without giving too much away, it's kind of about just finding the circumstances that would surround something almost fantastical.
Yeah.
So
Oh, nice.
What's,
And
yeah. Oh, well, one of the things that I wanted to say is that the situation, as Henry mentioned, was somewhat unbelievable, and we put it in a believable context. But one of the prostitutes or the sex workers that work for Lana Golan basically is not accepting that reality. So she's basically in a denial situation.
She's trying to walk over her or
Yes,
something?
yeah. So I'd say that this kind of denial situation is probably the same denial that you'd find of that whole situation, or of it's basically fantastical, but it has some denial within it as well. You know.
Right.
Of,
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very dimensional.
Yeah, you could say that. Well, yeah, there's a political dimension to it too. Though we try not to push it too much. So, yeah.
And you guys, when did you start shooting? What was it like from going from writing to what was like the process like? When did this all go down where you guys were like, all right, now we're happy with the script, we're ready to start shooting this? Or?
Well, I mean, if you want to go like from essence to now, how I remember it at least, our experiences might be different, but how I remember it is we were just, in our house one night doing whatever, I don't remember, like drinking coffee or something at night, and then I just said, let's forget kind of about all these big ideas that we have, and let's make something that we can make right now on our budget, basically.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. And I don't know, the pimp thing came about because, like
Actually,
she said,
it came about because we were working on another script, which is a sci-fi film as well.
Right.
Yeah,
and
which
the main
is
character,
tons of money to make.
Yeah, right, of
and
course.
the main character is a girl called the Russian Pimp as well.
Oh,
and
really?
she's basically a cyborg.
Cyborg
and she's
pimp?
A cyborg pimp.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what we were working on together, you know. And then eventually, we were like, why not take that the pimp concept, and make it into a script that we can shoot right now, because sci-fi is harder to shoot. You really need budget.
Create the whole world.
But was it not a coincidence that it was a pimp story? Because I remember
I don't think so. I think it's
it was subconscious to me then. Maybe not for you, but I just, the way I remember is because the way I come up with stuff is like with a shot or a sentence, and it's that shot and sentence that basically builds off of everything, and we basically begin it with this, because it's a character piece. The film's called Lana Golan. So I always thought of it as just starting off with the face, talking about what the story's about to be, and because that's basically what you see in the beginning of the trailer. It's her saying, basically opening the book to the story.
Yeah.
And so
narrating it over.
right, exactly. And there's no narration. It's only that one part, and she's actually talking to somebody in that scene. But it is kind of symbolic of opening a book to the story you're about to see unfold, basically. And that's how it was for me. It was just seeing her face, because it was basically, she's the inspiration.
Pimp,
I mean, she is the lead of the whole thing. So when I started writing the script, she was kind of the inspiration, and then we basically made a first draft, like everything, and then just built off of what we had, and we went through about 10 drafts or so. So
Okay.
yeah,
I always think it's like cool when it's. I really like the idea of like when people who are actors are writing, because it's almost like you can really flesh it out like as you're writing it, like where it's going to be, as opposed to like somebody just like coming up with this character, like having something in mind, but it's not necessarily the actress they're gonna have, and then it eventually like there's like compromises or changes where this seems like it'd be something. It's almost like you're it's taking care of rehearsal all within the writing.
Right, exactly. I mean, and it's just more liberating. I mean, it depends whatever you want your lifestyle to be, but I find it to be liberating as an artist to do everything,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And,
well, in my opinion, it depends a lot on the scale as well, the scale of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because there are things that, basically, if you want to be, let's say, more, if you want to be the only player or the main player in filmmaking, as in you're the director, you're the writer, and you're the actor, you kind of limit. Well, it takes forever, that's one, and the other thing is that you're limited in your experiences. You have to admit to yourself as well that you're not as diverse as you might think you are. You might have creation and imagination, but then you don't have all the information and all the knowledge in the world, And sometimes when you make a film that is of a higher scale, that probably talks about problems in places like, let's say, the Middle East, then you need people to advise you. So it's beautiful to work in a team,
Yeah,
in
'cause
my
you
opinion.
grow.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
grow
You
and
grow
the
with
project
that.
grows.
Yeah.
Right.
But unfortunately, as an independent filmmaker, when you have a very limited budget,
You have a
really
very
have
limited-
yeah.
you have a
You
limited
to
story, in a way.
exactly. You
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
limited story.
Yeah.
You expand yourself as an
Yeah.
individual. You develop yourself, but
Right.
you still have this limitation.
It's kind of the difference between how Scorsese made Mean Streets in the beginning, and then he made Kundun later in his career, which has nothing to do with his background, but
Yeah.
something that interested him based on his own
Religious,
experiences
yeah.
as a Catholic and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we would want to in the future tackle things that are bigger than that. But unfortunately, in a world where the arts aren't funded, say, by the government or some sort of grant program, you have to find your own sort of private funds to tackle these big issues.
Yeah. You gotta scrap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
I feel that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see it because I remember seeing what was the last film you did that you
All right. It's in the streets. Yeah.
In the streets?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the streets. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like for me it's very rare like because I went to film school too and like I've seen a lot of people get real serious about making, especially when it comes to like crime type of films or something that's serious and you're making it on a low to no scale budget.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to have it come across as like people able to take that seriously because you got to worry about it's got to look right. It's got to look
Right.
real and feel real. And if just like audio or lighting is off, or
Right,
you have
right.
one bad actor,
It
really,
jars people.
yeah,
you
it
know?
jeopardizes it. As
Yeah.
like that's why I personally tend to do like the stuff I do when I not having a budget is typically more surreal or experimental or something suited for not having to like really take that risk
Yeah.
in a way.
Right.
But you seem like you pull it off real well with what I saw from the streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the trailer for this looks,
Yeah.
it looks like you guys probably did a pretty damn good job too.
Well, we're in the middle of editing right now, and we're liking what we're seeing.
Yeah.
It's just about fixing kinks like sound and all that, because the most important things when you're at this stage, when you're making films like in the thousands, not even the tens of thousands, but within the low thousands.
Yeah.
Kind of the three main things that really add success to your film are great writing, great acting, and great sound.
Yeah.
Everything else, even cinematography, I dare say, falls in second when you're at this kind of limited sort of.
Oh yeah, sound
scale.
is a huge thing.
Yeah. I mean, more than cinematography, you can have terrible cinematography, but if your sound is brilliant and it's clear, people will be less jarred. At least that's been my philosophy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I feel like they maybe that was something I learned in film school as well, or noticed at some point or something. But
Yeah.
how long is this a feature film?
It's probably going to break, and it's a weird size script. It was 45-page script, but the film itself is most likely going to break an hour, so it'll be technically a feature. A
Oh,
short
nice.
feature.
Could be a short feature.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I've actually been shooting to have my features closer to like just over an hour because
Right.
when it helps with like festivals.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's exactly the thing. Again, at this stage, when you're not going to most likely get into, we would hope, but most likely you're not going to get into Sundance or Cannes at this point. You need
Yeah.
at least
Oh
a
yeah,
million.
people. I don't even know why it's
Yeah.
like blows my mind that it's like there can be independent films, but they're still backed by millions of dollars and
Right.
like A-list actors
Right,
involved.
right.
It's completely absurd and
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, and so Cannes and Sundance really aren't quote unquote. They're high budget independent, whatever you want to call that. They're not studio perhaps, but they're high budget all the
Yeah.
same. So we haven't gotten to that point yet. So at this point, you're right. It's more helpful to keep it at an hour because you'll most likely get a slot in one of those low budget festivals, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some good music going on in the back.
Oh yeah. It's like I had to tweak it so it wasn't
Yeah.
picking up, and then I took my headphones off. I'm like, damn, that's
Yeah.
much louder.
But yeah.
What was I gonna say? So Katrina, you acted and directed in it.
Yes. Well,
Did you guys co-direct it, or was it just you?
basically, it depends on how you want to look at directing.
It's a
Basically,
film
I think,
by us.
Yeah.
It's a film by us.
I do think of Henry as my partner in this film, and I would say that it's very hard in independent films, especially when you have such a tight cooperation. It's very hard to, say I did this and I did that.
Yeah.
And in a
Yeah,
higher budget
yeah.
film, it's
Roles mix
Yeah,
in
exactly.
lower budget. Higher budget,
Exactly.
you have more
Yeah.
of a direct hierarchy.
Yes.
You know.
So I would say in this case, for example, I would say that I definitely contributed to the story, but Henry is the one who wrote it.
Right.
So he definitely contributed in the directing, but
she had the big picture in mind.
Yeah.
You know?
So
Okay.
it depends on, like, one would have to lead.
Right.
Let's say that kind of. Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, it was probably had a pretty nice flow in terms of like I just asked because it's like I know it's like a struggle to like play like a like a leading role and direct, or like even
Yes.
just to do just one of those things alone is like
Right.
a full time thing.
I actually opposed a lot to playing Lana Golan because I really wanted just to direct. I thought to myself that it would be very challenging for me
Yeah.
to take the lead role and at the same time, direct.
And I pushed her to it.
Henry,
Yeah.
Henry is the one who pushed.
I said,
pushed
take
me.
on the challenge. You know,
Yeah.
just do it while you can, especially
Yeah.
at this stage. You know.
Yeah, and
that
he
was,
promised to support me, so
Yeah.
he actually did that. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
So-
basically, yeah, we discussed the big picture before the shoot and all of that, and then I basically tried to implement what she told me she saw, you
Yeah.
know? And obviously, I would have to take liberties sometimes in the midst of all this chaos, because it was chaotic, you know,
Yeah.
especially dealing with people on set,
Yeah.
so certain people on set.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, but they were great. I mean, they're wonderful, but, you know, some people have their own ideas, you know?
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, and especially when it comes because the script was basically written in English, but then the actors
Right.
are Arabic speakers as well, you know, so there was a mixing between Arabic and English,
Right.
and that's because the two girls who are acting basically as the sex workers are illegally present in the U.S. and they were coming from Syria. Basically, we were very, very lucky because there's this great actress called Nadia Hamze. She acted with the legends of Syria.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I was so lucky to have her with us,
Yeah.
you
So
know?
you guys got a cross the seas celebrity.
Exactly.
In a way,
you know,
yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
And there was, another girl was playing with us as well, Basma Ismail. Like, she's
Brilliant.
brilliant. She's like, talk about raw talent,
Yeah.
you know? I swear to God.
Yeah.
Improvisation and all of that. The only issue in improvisation is that sometimes it's hard to control when you are tight on schedule.
Oh yeah, you go
Yeah.
on tangents
Right.
forever. Like that's so good.
Yeah.
Can we use all 25 minutes of it?
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly, right.
So I'd say, yeah, there were challenges, definitely. Our crew was very small. We were trying to maintain.
What kind of like a skeleton crew? How many people
yeah.
were typically involved each
at,
shoot day?
at the most, we had it at 1, 2, 3, like 5 crew basically.
Yeah.
5 crew, and then
That
you
would,
had
that would be the maximum.
plus me, so
Yeah.
6, and then you'd have about 3 actors.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
would be the whole thing.
So
Actually,
about
on one
8,
day.
10 people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Overall, I mean
Yeah.
that's what
pretty.
we could afford.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna-
one day we only had 3, basically.
Right. I mean, there were
Yeah.
days where it was just one of the days it was just us
It
and
was
one person.
Us and one person.
We didn't prefer
Yeah.
that. One person had to drop out, but yeah, it was just 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm just gonna pause the recording.